spicy, mild, or somewhere in the middle. Answering all your questions, so turn it up a little. Is a meat dude. Yeah, it's a meat dude. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is episode 3. We are back again because nobody has stopped us yet once again, which is pretty cool. I'm Patrick, and this is my friend, the meat dude, Spencer Word. How's it going, my man?
Good. Glad to be here again for episode 3. Just think one day we're going to be saying like episode 500. It's going to be crazy.
Should we do seasons or episodes?
I have no idea.
You're
the designer behind the scenes. I'm just the guy to talk about meat.
That's good that we have our roles. That's always good. But yeah, first up, we want to talk about all the things that everyone's been Snapchatting you, liking, sharing, comments. Things have been going really well. I went ice fishing this past weekend, and I went into a little watering hole in the place where I go fishing. And if you know, you know, Danny's place. There was way more action in that bar than fishing. I didn't even mark a single fish. 2 different houses.
Well, you're trying to
live
spear
scope,
too,
and we were spearing, so we didn't even see.
Yeah.
I mean, shrimp in the hole. That's all we got. So it was. But we walked in there. And there was a couple of our fans or listeners or crazy whatever you want to call them, because when you get a little alcohol into people, they have some fun with the meat dude. But they wanted Spencer there signing autographs and Lord knows what. So
yeah, I was not there.
A star? Yeah,
I was not there, but I did get a selfie from you and some other guy.
Your biggest fan, I think. And, we're gonna call him your biggest fan. We'll leave him unnamed as of now.
You looked sober, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure,
it was like 10:30 at a bar, and I caught fish all day. Yeah, right. So you just got to do what you got to do. But are you gonna start taking these Snapchats, man? What are you gonna do with all this?
I don't know. We'll see.
To get all this stuff.
Well, I mean, it's just I think it'd be a great way for the meat dude to quickly showcase what's going on, in front of the meat dude. So we'll see. I guess stay tuned for 2026 if we start venturing out into different social media platforms and trying to, still build this brand. And I mean, if there's an interest, I'll willing to share a day in the life of the meat dude. Most days are well, I'll just show you the fun parts,
pretty
I guess.
Yeah, we don't need the guts and we want all the glory. We don't want the guts.
Yeah. So,
but
we'll see what comes to fruition. But I think I did text you to say we needed Snapchat, to which you responded, "Are you too old for Snapchat?" Was that what you responded?
No, we don't need to talk about how old I am. But the idea is I've never had Snapchat, and I'm not really gonna maybe have it. But they want to talk to the meat dude, is what they want. People want to talk to me, to you. I'm just like this passageway to the man. You were talking about a friend of yours that's in the wedding business, and they have a catering.
No.
Or once again, I'm reading off this thing, and I want to hear what he's got.
I gotta make sure that I send you clear, precise information
I'm like the anchor
on
man.
history.
Right,
so we'll kind of use this little segment as funny experiences the meat dude has had in his past over the last 15 years of being in this meat world. So it was one of my best friend's wedding. I was in the wedding, right? I was a groomsman.
Okay.
If you recall from a couple episodes back, I ran this little catering business called Carnivore Catering when I was working at NDSU, and my buddy hired Carnivore Catering to cater his wedding, huge wedding, really big, a lot of people. Don't remember the exact number, but there's a lot. Mm-hmm. They went all out, prime rib, like it was awesome. So I'm in line, sitting at the head table, obviously. Obviously, I know all the crew members because I've worked with them who were serving the meal. I was not part of the service team that night because I was in the wedding. And
still probably critiquing as they did.
No, everything was great. The food was great. The head table got served, and then somebody came up to me and were like, "We're out of silverware. Somebody's got to run back to the main place storage area and get more silverware because we're out. And you kind of need silverware to eat prime rib, right?"
Yeah.
So they lost 2 people to run back and go get more supplies that they didn't bring. So me and my full tux get to go to the carving table.
Nice.
Throw an apron on, roll my sleeves up to try to salvage or not stay in this, nice tux or suit
Rental?
or whatever it was.
Was it rental?
No, I bought it, so I really didn't want to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just send them back hot.
And all of my college buddies who were at the wedding just came up. And speaking of Snapchat, I think one of my good college friends still has a picture, and he reminds me of it all the time, that he came up and took a selfie with me as I was carving away on this prime rib in a full suit.
Nice. That's classy meat distribution.
Yeah. It was a wild night. I'll never forget it. And people still bring it up to this day. The food was great, but you can't eat prime rib without silverware. No. So kind of a main part of the old catering scenario. And
yeah,
it happened. It's a hilarious story. One that I'll never forget. And this was probably 10 plus years ago. I don't know. I'll have to ask my buddy how long he's been married, but it was a while ago. So
he's not divorced. He's at least still married.
Happily married.
He's over that 50% threshold, and that's good. Being a DJ, we would DJ. A couple years later, I'd see the guy out golfing or whatever. He was already divorced. I was like, good Lord, can you guys keep it together?
Maybe it was the DJ.
I don't think it was the DJ. I don't know. I figured maybe we'd get him half off the next time because he'd lost half his crap. So we try to get him something. But we've used a lot Emma Designs for all our stuff, for our logos, for our branding, for just like the idea of kind of get this whole ball rolling besides the actual meat and potatoes of the whole deal. And she's really taken off for us. So if you're a business owner, creator, or someone who just knows their brand could be better, Emma's Design is who you want in your corner. She helps bring your vision to life, from logos and branding to digital design that actually feels like you. Connect with emmadesigns.co and let's design something that feels like you, elevated purpose and ready for tomorrow. Visit emmadesigns.co to learn more. So she's really awesome. I don't really know much more to say to than that. Besides, she just dominates what she does. And
3 episodes in a row that we've been promoting her because she's awesome. And all I have to say is look at the logo and it proves itself.
Right on. I think now we even got cool little hats because it's the holiday edition, so that's always awesome. So we should have probably had the sweaters on, and we always have things to grow in the future. But you were talking about this suit coat. You got like a Christmas suit coat?
I do, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not going to film again for a while, but we should. I should have brought it out for everybody to see. I bought it for a work Christmas party like 6-7 years ago, and it's fancy.
Pretty epic.
Yeah. It's pretty epic.
That's good.
Maybe one day it'll make an appearance.
Well, there's always Christmas in July. You have enough beers, you can ho and have a good time. And
spicy, mild, or somewhere in the middle. Answering all your questions, so turn it up a little. Is a meat dude. Yeah, it's a meat dude. Yeah.
We're going to get into some questions. The meat dude needs to answer the questions, need to get out of this. And we had a gentleman. Now, this was kind of a deep question. He kind of went off about talking about these pork sausages or patties and wanting to know the difference on why some are pink and some are a little darker, like a Jimmy Dean's that comes without pink. And it was all started in a bar in Wishick, apparently, late at night. And that's when all good things, kind of go toe to toe.
Come up in conversation.
So talk to me, Spencer. Why is that sometimes pink? And why is like the aftermarket stuff for like a Jimmy Dean's not pink?
Yeah, so there's kind of two routes that I'm going to take this question, because it really stems from two points. One, we need to dive into the science of color of meat. So the science behind it's essentially curing meat, and then the other side of it is regulation. Regulation has a play on why some facilities can make these essentially cured fresh pork patties and some other facilities can't. So first, let's talk about the science. So when we take fresh meat and add a curing agent to it, which is sodium nitrite, whether it's naturally derived or synthetically derived, it's still a chemical of sodium nitrite or nitrate. When that's introduced to meat, it binds with a protein that gives meat its color, which is myoglobin. That protein is called myoglobin. Myoglobin is an oxidative protein, meaning it reacts with oxygen, and that is what gives meat its color. So let's say we throw a steak out on the table. So it's a vacuum packaged steak. We take it out of the vacuum package. We set it on the table. We give it time to bloom, which is a scientific term for allowing oxygen to react with myoglobin. It's going to turn pink or red, right, depending on if it's pork or beef. If we leave it out on the counter long enough, it's actually going to start deteriorating and going back to brown color. Now when we gray, brown, yeah. So when we cook fresh meat, that turns to brown. Okay, but when we add cure, it binds to that myoglobin. There's this whole big chemical reaction that occurs, and it's not a stable chemical reaction until you cook it. Once you cook it, it stabilizes that chemical reaction, and it's the chemical name for the color. Man, I'm going back to my more sciencey days. It's nitrosyl hemochrome is the technical term. So it's nitrite bound with myoglobin. Yeah, whatever. We're not in chemistry class, but it's called nitrosyl hemochrome. Okay, and that's a stable compound, and that is when you cook product, it turns pink. Okay. So it's the exact opposite of cooking fresh meat and cooking cured meat. So when we throw that curing agent into meat, it actually turns brown pretty much immediately. So that chemical reaction, as soon as it touches, starts. And then when we throw it in the smokehouse or throw it into some cooking mechanism, it'll turn pink and it'll stay pink. So think like a cured ring sausage. When you cut into it, it's pink. Now, when we talk on the regulatory side, so because this chemistry that is happening in the meat, it is not stable until you cook it. So as an inspected meat processing facility, you cannot put cure into fresh sausage. The only place you can put cure into is a cooked product, because it's within your control to cook it legitimately, truly, data logged, documented that it's been fully cooked or what have you, to enter commerce. On fresh sausage, as a federally inspected meat processing facility, like for instance Jimmy Dean, they cannot put cure into their fresh pork sausage. That's why you'll never find fresh pork sausage of Jimmy Dean that you're able to cook and it will turn pink. It is fresh meat, and all it has added to it is salt and seasoning. So when you cook it, it turns brown, just like cooking a ground beef patty or just like cooking a steak or a pork chop, what have you. So in a small town grocery store that isn't an inspected meat processing facility, they're governed by a different agency. Usually it's a local county, or same with a small town restaurant. Same parameters, they're just governed differently depending on the county and city, things like that. So they have a little bit more freedom to do that. Plus in a restaurant, obviously they're cooking it themselves, so they can add that cure to it. I also think there's something with, this is kind of German country, and cure has just always been added to that product. So, this question came in stating that people from out of town were in the area, and they were kind of questioning why this pork sausage is pink, because they're not just used to that. And I do. Why would they eat it? And I do think there's a little bit of just that's normal in this area. I've even ran into it, for instance, here in New Salem, back when we used to have a cafe over the last 5 years. Trying to work with them to create a breakfast sausage for them to make, and the conversation that I had to have of, I can't put cure in this product and put a federal bug on it for you to take it and cook it in your restaurant. And that's kind of difficult for people to understand that have been in the restaurant world or grocery store world, that we're just under a more watchful eye, and we don't have as much flexibility as they do. That's kind of the two reasons why. It's one, regulation, and then obviously the science behind curing. I used to know the whole chemical chart of what happens when you add cure. I used to teach the fundamentals of meat processing. I had all that stuff memorized, but the fact that I could remember what the final compound is called, nitrosyl hemochrome, I'm actually pretty pumped about it.
We aren't quizzing you at home,
about remembering that.
Well, it seems interesting that being in your world, you have more regulations than the people that are selling probably way more food than you because you can go buy it at the store and the whatever things. But it's not that it's not regulated. It's
just think of a grocery store. 95 to 96% of the product. Well, let's talk small town grocery store. I mean, 95% of their product is prepackaged and they're just selling it. There's, we're lucky enough here in New Salem and other small towns that they still have a meat department or a meat cutting room that they do produce fresh product. And there's just not those stringent rules like there is. It's essentially the label policy guidelines that the USDA has out for federal meat processors. But same with restaurants. Restaurants is a little different because they're cooking it at the end, so they're controlling that step that the USDA sees that should be up to a meat processing facility. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with either at all. It's just curing does change the texture a little bit. It does obviously drastically changes the color. So there's gonna be a little bit more salty flavor in a cured patty versus a fresh patty. The texture will be a little bit better bound together than compared to a fresh patty. Cured does a lot of good things on the backside on a food safety basis as well. It stops the growth of Clostridiums, which is a concern that don't get killed by cooking, and just it does a lot of good things on the food safety side as well. That's why we cure products. I mean, curing was originated as extending the shelf life of meat, right? Because like our ring sausage, for instance, it's cured, smoked, cooked, fully cooked, and I got a shelf life of like 6 months, refrigerated and vacuum packaged on that product. So it drastically affects the shelf life, sellability of that product. So.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as it doesn't get freezer burned or whatever, if you buy it and put it away, it's probably still good to go. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of cool different things that go into, having one thing or the other, and that kind of clears it up. So hopefully that guy now is more knowledgeable off of this.
And I think it's, cool to have these conversations and realize that meat processing, even across the nation, is different depending on what area you're in. I remember
there's not a United States regulation right across all the boards.
No, USDA, right? USDA, but I'm talking like just little things that every region does differently. If somebody comes in and says they've never seen a pork breakfast sausage patty before, it's like, well, you're obviously not from around here, right? I remember I had an opportunity to go to a Tyson short course in Chicago, Illinois. So we went into one of their pilot plants where it's like a meat processor's dream because you have millions of dollars worth of equipment and you get to play. You get to play around with this equipment and make product. And I remember talking to one of their head salesmen, like national salesman for Tyson for their processed meats. And I said, do you have different recipes for different areas of the country?
The region,
because Louisiana, Texas, South is gonna probably, one would assume, like a lot more spicier foods than North Dakota.
Absolutely. Then the Germans and
and they said they don't necessarily change recipes depending on the area. They more just market different products to certain areas of the country. Right, we're gonna sell this more bland flavored one to North Dakota. We're gonna, but it's just really interesting, and this cure kind of plays into that. Everywhere, every region has their little what they're used to eating, and it's fun. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with people's food. It's a pretty serious deal, especially if they've gotten used to it, and if they would change it, that's when hands go up, and it's crazy. It crazy time, for sure. We have another question. Since it's close to the holiday season, we're going to be talking Christmas hams. So there's a lot of things that go into a ham, a lot of different ways you can cook it, a lot of different ways you can approach it. I've had ham multiple different ways, but any advice or any things that you can do before you even start cooking the ham? Is there's basic prep, or is there, fill us in on kind of Christmas ham? It's very, very broad, obviously.
It is. First thing that I wish more consumers did was read the label on the product. It's
I'm
like
super
no
guilty of
joke.
that.
Yeah, it's
There needs to be like pictures or something.
maybe.
Yeah.
But there's so much information on a label that we legally have to put on that label that will drastically help in your holiday meal prep and cooking. Ham, for instance, if it's got a federal bug on it, it's fully cooked, meaning you could eat it cold right out of the bag.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna eat cold ham for Christmas, but just
If you run out
knowing,
of power maybe or something.
yeah, just knowing that ham is fully cooked, you're reheating it. You're not cooking it.
Okay.
It's kind of a different ball game, right? You're not going to be adding anything to it. It's already cured. It's already smoked. You could say that you're gonna hit it, put it on your tray, or put it on your.
Is it gonna take smoke?
It's gonna take a little bit,
Okay.
but it's not going to like absorb the smoke. But you'll
Not
get a
as
little
a-
bit of the fat on the outside if there is any fat. That'll take in a little bit of the flavor, and just the aroma of the smoke will be taken a little bit. But it's not the proteins aren't going to absorb the smoke like you would if you were cooking something fresh. So that's it. I mean, you're reheating it. That's it. So,
Okay, so pick your
roaster. If you want
crock
to get crazy and try to add more smoke, or if that's your go-to for reheating things, go for it. Just know that a pellet grill, for instance, isn't the greatest at reheating large chunks of meat. Depending on what size your ham is, you want something high humidity to shoot that temperature up relatively quickly. Again, unless you're just smoking it for another 10 hours. To me, it doesn't make sense, but more power to you if you got the tools.
Yeah, if you don't want to hang out with the family. Oh, I gotta smoke
Yeah,
this
I
ham out
gotta
of your garage.
smoke this ham, but it's actually already smoked and already cooked, and all I'm doing is drinking beer and reheating this ham. But
Sounds like a decent Christmas.
yeah, so just read the label. That's it. You know, if you're buying your ham from wherever you can source it, the label will tell you what's going on. You can find some partially cooked. It's essentially called heat treated,
Okay.
where it's heated up to not full lethality, meaning it didn't, on paper, get cooked to high enough temperatures where it potentially killed any bad stuff. But again, knowing that, just know that you got to take it up to 165-ish internal temperature, and you're good to go. So same thing with that. Anytime you're cooking or reheating a huge, large muscle portion of meat, think high humidity to exponent that process.
Okay. So glazing it, that's just going to basically kind of just finish it off.
And give you a pretty surface.
Okay.
And add a little flavor to the 4 bites on the outside of the ham.
Right, and then you get into it and it's going to be the same.
Yeah.
Inside. No,
But
that makes sense.
there's you can add some, whether you're using like a sugar glaze or something to kind of caramelize, you can add, and everybody wants to, well, at least my friends on Snapchat like to Snapchat their cooking adventures, but you don't have Snapchat, so I don't get to send you
Maybe
my
one day.
cooking
Maybe
adventures.
one
But
day.
yeah.
Enjoying this century.
So ham's, I mean, it's really flexible. It's really do whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation with our local grocery store guy of us trying to start making some hams for the grocery store, and I'm not a huge fan of a big old bone-in ham, and we had that conversation that generation is kind of is dwelling down. You know, that's, you have the old school people that they got a bone-in ham. They utilized every portion of it. They put the bones into their soup. They rendered everything down. They utilized every portion of it. And in our generation and in the next upcoming generation, it's an easier sell to just, here's a portion of boneless ham. All you got to do is reheat it and cook it and eat it.
Right. Couple more bucks and I'll take it.
Couple more bucks,
Yeah.
and you don't have to deal with a bone.
Yeah. Yeah, most people probably are not making snoop bone. My wife probably would.
Yeah.
She's definitely the old school cook, but yeah, I can see how that whole generation's just going to kind of fall off there.
There's cooking and utilizing everything is, I mean, it's always changing up and down dependent on your customer base, but that was the conversation we had about hams lately, and it's a great time to have that conversation of what is your picture perfect ham. Is it just a chunk of meat that's cured, smoked, ready to be eaten after you throw it in the roaster for a couple hours, or are you looking for that huge bone-in ham that is picture perfect to put on the front of a card or something, you know?
a holiday season greeting card.
Yeah,
right? Check out my meat.
Here's my ham that I cooked last year.
Right on.
Put it on the Christmas card.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully that kind of information, if anybody's out there listening thinking ham this winter or this Christmas, might have just maybe saved some Christmas dinners, for the old birthday of Jesus.
I don't know if I saved any dinners, but
maybe
made it easier for it.
Maybe
took the stress away during this stressful time of year.
I think if the person that's cooking the majority of the meal is drinking more before they eat, besides eating or drinking after, your meal's probably not going to go that great. But I feel like if you're just kind of sipping and growing and then you kind of hit it afterwards, then that meal is just always a lot better. Yeah, you always got to watch those guys. Those guys that just go out to drink and probably haven't even started the smoker out. I'm not looking down on them by any means. I've played those games before, but the rest of the family might be a little upset if you come in fried and the turkey is not for the ham. Yeah, sponsor for the first 3 episodes. Really appreciate everything she's done. I hope she has a great holiday season, and she likes these little hats on the logos that she drew. I worked real hard today on that, so that was good. Do you got any Christmas plans? You got big plans? Driving anywhere? What's going on?
Yeah, I think we're gonna head home to my parents' place. My dad has actually been texting me quite a bit about the meat, and I think the last text message said, "I guess I have to ask the meat dude now,
right,
on how I'm supposed to
bow
cook this
down,
thing."
Dad.
Actually, I think the last one said, "Just so you know, you're cooking everything." Like, yeah, I'm kind of used to that. But I think what we're doing is kind of a curveball for Christmas, but we're doing pork loin.
Okay.
And we're trying something new, which is even out of my realm.
Okay. What are you doing?
And we're using a kettle air fryer to cook these pork loins.
What's a kettle air fryer? Is just bigger or what?
Well, it's propane. It's propane ran, and you don't put oil in it because it's an air fryer. So think a turkey fryer, but it's air instead of oil.
Nice.
Yeah, I when he said this was the plan, I was like, I'm intrigued.
Really,
I'm intrigued.
Evenly, right? I mean,
one would hope that everything on paper makes sense that it could be pretty legit.
Okay.
I think last year we did pork loin too, but I cooked it on the Big Green Egg, so of course it was amazing. So, but this I'm intrigued. I'm excited. How about you? What are you cooking?
I don't know yet, to be honest with you. The wife hasn't made that. I know that there's different types of meats. We're having a ham, so we're going to take that.
That's a good thing we just talked about hams.
I think the ham is coming our way, where I'm going to have to prep it, but now I'm not going to deal with the big long smoke.
There you go.
I don't need to sit out in the garage for 10 hours. I might only do it for like an hour.
Right,
or so.
I was going to say that's a good excuse to sit out in the garage.
You still got to clean the grill and prep the things. But other than that, probably get together with a couple different here in town and then head back to Devil's Lake or whatever. And maybe I can talk them into some steak again, because nothing beats steak.
It's pretty tough.
Know. It's just tough to beat that kind of stuff. But when you got steak in your mouth, you're a pretty happy dude. I know I am. But we're going to be this will be our last episode of 2025. We're going to take a couple week break. And then we're going to be coming back in 2026. We'll probably be at some different locations. We're going to have some guests. We're going to kind of kick this whole thing off. And then we're going to be going every other week. So it's going to be bi-weekly, so we'll try to get 26 episodes in 2026. And that'll be pretty cool if we get 29 episodes before the end of 2026. That'd be pretty awesome. It's still funny that here we are staring at each other talking. And but it's been a lot of fun. I've been learning some stuff, and you guys enjoy your Christmas. Be safe out there. Happy birthday, Jesus. That's what the season's all for. And obviously gifts. That's what the kids want, And don't burn your house down when you're cooking something, and things will go pretty well. Yeah,
Merry Christmas to everybody, and good luck with whatever food or specifically meat you are cooking.
Yeah,
and we hope to hear some good stories, maybe. From people. Some good, maybe not good. I mean, it happens when you're smoking meat, but...
honestly, bad stories, I think, are more fun than good stories, because it's like, hey, we ate and everything went well, and it's like, that's not really good podcast material.
Yeah.
Did you burn your hand on it? Did you cuss out somebody? Did grandma yell at you?
Did you try to cook a frozen prime rib on a pellet grill?
Yes.
I hope somebody tries it.
Just to see if they can replicate such an awesome deal, yeah.
Awesome isn't the word, but yeah.
All right, everybody. You enjoy the rest of the year. Merry Christmas.
That sure smells good. Firing it up in the backyard, cracking one. It's time to chill. From the ranch to the steak, take it from the farm and put it on your plate. It's the meat dude, yeah. It's the meat dude, yeah. All the degrees from universities, bringing science in on how hot it's supposed to be. It's the meat dude, yeah. It's the meat dude, yeah. Spicy, mild, or somewhere in the middle. Answering all your questions, so turn it up a little. It's a meat dude, yeah. It's a meat dude, yeah.